Hello, and welcome to the first ever live edition of our podcast, Checkpoint Coffee. You're listening to the entire team of MN Gaming, your local games media, currently live on Twitch and YouTube to talk about the Summer Games Fest. Now, before we get into the topic proper, let me introduce the team that's with us today. Your host today is me, Mooney, and with me are Mika and Iham.
Hey folks, evening.
Hello everyone.
So, you guys, what do you think about this new format? We're live.
Oh, I'm actually quite nervous. If you guys are watching the stream, you can actually see we turned back to our normal Discord PNG tuber reactive avatars here. I have not quite figured out a way to get all our avatars, including a secret avatar for IAM, which I'm working on right now, which you guys will see
Mm.
soon.
I
I
haven't
think these
even
are
seen it either.
I think these are really cute. So, I don't really see it as a step down or anything, just a step sideways. I'm looking forward to your avatar, Iham. I'm sure it'll be very interesting.
But the real
Yeah.
reason we are here, guys, is for
Hmm?
one thing. One thing
Oh,
only.
yes. All right, let me talk a little bit more about the topic. So, recently, just like every year so far for a couple of years, we have had the Summer Games Fest with our good buddy Geoff, right? And man showed up, did his show. There were plenty of trailers, plenty of reveals, a few surprises, a lot of delights. And we thought, we got to talk about this. So, today, we're going to be talking about our top picks of the Summer Games Fest. Now, I want to preface this by saying that this Summer Games Fest revealed a lot of trailers, like a lot. So maybe your favorites may not be mentioned by us today, but that's what the comments are for. That's what the chat is for. Get in there and let us know things that you want us to mention and talk about as well. So feel free.
I mean,
And
it's not even only the Summer Games Fest we're talking about. We had the Day of the Dev Showcase, the Latin American ones,
mm,
very interesting ones. Unfortunately, we don't quite have time to go all over them. But if you guys have anything you're interested in, just again let us know in chat, and we'll try to take a look
e-
at it.
exactly. So what we're going to do today is we're going to be talking about the games that we consider to be some of the most fun, right? So I'm going to throw it to you guys. Mika, who wants to go first? Who wants to tell us about the first game that really caught their attention?
No, I think among us, you have the most. I don't mean this as an insult, by the way. You have the most mainline picks for our choices right now. So I am going to put you on the spotlight. Would you like to go first?
Uh, sure, but I want to know what you mean by mainline games.
The ones that most people like gravitate towards immediately. Like whether you're a JRPG guy or the guy who loves action, I feel like you're fitting both these categories with these picks. I think our viewers can kind of guess what you're talking about. Gonna talk about soon too.
Yeah, I think one game is pretty obvious, but the other game is not. So let's start with the other game.
So this is
So
going to be the not obvious game, is it?
yes,
All
I
right,
mean I
surprise
wasn't
us.
even even I wasn't expecting that I would like this game, but yeah, I ended up liking it.
Mm,
So
okay.
my first pick, like the one that I like from the entire Summer Game Festival, is actually 007 First Light, which was announced in the
Oh,
PlayStation Showcase.
oh my God. You know what? I want to say this real quick. I also am really excited for this game. It looks really good. Like I am somebody who's seen a couple of Bond films here and there, right? But it is what's his name? Daniel Craig's James Bond that I kind of
Yes,
followed a bit
yes.
religiously, and I kind of got to know a little bit about the character, the history, and the lore behind him. And I was like, oh my God, this guy needs a really good video game. It's been a while since GoldenEye, so I am. Tell us what drew you towards this game. I am very surprised, to be honest.
Yeah, even same as you, how I got into this franchise is because of Daniel Craig's character. Like I
Mm,
did watch Skyfall, Spectre, and No Time to Die, like the last three movies,
mm,
and it was these movies that I actually was introduced to this franchise even. And Funny enough, I don't actually remember that this game was announced before.
Oh,
I mean, I actually,
there was a teaser
yes,
for this some time back. We knew it was coming. This was the first time we seen the gameplay for it, and it looks.
yeah, it was announced way back in 2020.
I want to say something that makes me really excited is that they're not recreating any actor. Like they're straight up just doing their own version of James Bond. This isn't even like lore-wise necessarily any of the movie Bonds, right? And one thing that I like that I kind of caught was that he has a cheek scar, like a scar on his cheek, and that's something that he's supposed to have according to the books. James Bond is a book first, by the way, in case anybody didn't know that, but they kind of removed that for the movies for whatever reason. So I'm actually really interested to see this new take on James Bond, to see like what he's about and what the story is gonna be, what the gameplay is gonna feel like to play and all.
Yeah, actually, it turns out that this game is going to be a origin story for James Bond.
Mm. So this new
Yes,
version of
yes. So this game will, in a way, will show the origin story and how he got to the Secret Service and how he became 007.
It's kind of amazing that we're actually getting this as a game, right? Like, I think the origin story of Bond would make for a great movie as well, but somehow we're getting a video game out of it.
wait, wait, Nika, aren't you aware the origin story of James Bond is already a really, really good movie? It's called Casino Royale. Which, by the way, I was also gonna say, since you mentioned those three movies, I highly recommend this movie to you. It is so good. Like I've watched that movie so many times, and
No,
I
no,
still
no.
think it's
Uh,
phenomenal.
I didn't mean in the Casino Royale sense. I mean like in this sense. Like this is before he was Bond, right?
Yes.
Fair enough. I guess Casino Royale does begin with him getting his 00 certification. In
Yeah.
case anybody doesn't know, what that means is that gives him the quote unquote license to kill.
Yeah, Casino Royale was actually something that I actually was gonna talk about, but I forgot. So thank you for reminding me. That,
All good.
so
So,
yeah, the important thing that I want to talk about is that this game is actually developed by IO Interactive, the same people who are behind Hitman series. And
Oh,
funny enough, I still haven't played a single Hitman game.
okay,
so
since you mentioned Hitman, let me also get in here real quick and just mention something off real quickly, okay? So we mentioned Casino Royale, we mentioned James Bond, and now we're talking about Hitman. Did you know that one of the villains of James Bond is also coming to the Hitman games? Like that was revealed
Yes, that's what
during
I
the
was
Summer Games
planning
Fest
to
as well.
talk about
Uh,
later.
okay, go ahead. My bad. I'm really excited about it because the actor is giving his likeness and his voice, which is very
Yes,
cool.
Mads Mikkelsen is back.
Mm-hmm. Mika, you were gonna say something. Please jump in.
oh yeah, I was gonna ask whether you're expecting like Hitman gameplay from here, like an open world area where you have to sort of find a way to accomplish your objectives. Like, do we know anything about the gameplay of 007 First Flight?
Listen, I'm gonna
Uh,
say this. I
I'm
don't
not
know
sure.
anything, but I will tell you what my wish list is, okay? I don't want this game to be some Hitman sandbox open world game, okay? We have too many of those. What I want this game to be is Uncharted James Bond, right?
So,
Like,
You
responding
know
to
what?
I
That was what my wish list too. That's what actually made me like the game even. Like this game really looks similar to Uncharted, and that's something that I really like.
okay,
same,
okay,
same.
I can dig an Uncharted vibe too, and also King. Thanks for joining us in chat. And like he said, if you guys haven't played Hitman yet, I hope you haven't yet. You should really try it. It is a very interesting
I
way of doing
agree.
things.
I think that like Hitman is great for a lot of reasons, right? I'm specifically talking about like not the older games, but the world of Hitman, like the newer ones, right? And some of them are that like how in Assassin's Creed you have these black box missions, which is like a situation where it's a little bit of a sandbox and you have multiple ways of going in and out and approaching your objective. Like every level of Hitman is a black box mission, and there are so many options of what you can do. It's actually very fun to experiment with the various things. And another thing is that in the modern age, stealth games are not very I don't want to say common, like they don't do them very much. They just incorporate stealth into other genres. So it's nice to have a game that is actually a stealth game.
Yeah, I agree. And
And
like King said, there are, like King said in Twitch, if you guys are checking chat, uh,
I
there
think
is a lot of ways to get kills in this game. And I think the most memorable one for me definitely has to be the sushi, right? Some of you
the
have definitely
sushi.
gotten the sushi kill.
And the fun part is that you could be like that, really careful hitman who only goes after his target, right? Or you could be somebody who is very stealthy but still takes out a lot of like guards and stuff like that. Or you could literally go in guns blazing and just blow up a bunch of stuff, which I think is great. The fact that the game just allows you to do all of these things and just choose your own adventure almost. But hey, let's not get pigeonholed into Hitman. Let's move back to 007. Like, when I played the Uncharted games, right? I always described them as playable movies, but with more emphasis on the play part than the movie part. Like, sure, it has a lot of dialogue, it has a lot of cutscenes and whatnot, but at the same time, you also do get to play through a lot of the game. There is enough gameplay there that feels like you're meaningfully contributing to the story. And even though it is one of those things where, like, once you're done with an area, you're done and you don't really go back or anything with a level select or whatever, I think it's fine because James Bond tends to be like a globe-trotting character who goes to multiple locations, often in different adventures and all. So I think it could actually work out really well. Like, if you think about dream games, which is something that we sometimes talk about on this channel, hit James Bond and Uncharted is like they fit together so well, right, Iham?
Yeah, it does.
So you were expecting like very Uncharted gameplay for this, and I'm totally down for this. Uh, what kind of expectations are there for you for the game? Like, if it's Uncharted gameplay, are you expecting a linear mission structure, a more story focused one, gun gameplay, stealth? Like any details you got, let us know because I haven't checked this out at all yet.
Yeah,
So
I
Iham,
want
what are
more
your
linear.
expectations as well?
Yeah, I want more linear, more stealth. But for me, what I want is I want to go and explore a lot of places. And in the trailer, I think we are gonna go to a lot of places. So I'm pretty excited for it.
Yeah, it looks like a typical James Bond film, where you start out at your base or you go to one country and then you learn something and go somewhere else and so on and so forth. Now, something that really interests me also because it is James Bond is like who is gonna be the villain of this game, right? Because
We gotta
Bond
have that
villains,
mustache twirling
yeah,
wiggle around.
yeah, exactly. They tend to be a bit of a show stealer whenever they're around. And there are a lot of different kinds of Bond villains, the kind of people who want orbital lasers to destroy countries, the kind of people who want to, like, do data theft, the kind of people who are just broke and want to make some money. Like, there's a lot. And I'm very excited to see, like, what kind of villain we'll be dealing with. It could end up being like a Far Cry situation where the villain is actually one of the things people love the most about the game, which I wouldn't say it's a bad thing at all. Now, on that note, Iham, you got anything more to add, or should we move on to Mika?
Let's
I,
move on.
I think we have one more game for you, right?
Are
Yeah,
we gonna
we'll come
are we
back to
gonna talk?
Iham.
Yeah.
Sorry, Iham, not to interrupt you. Go ahead.
Oh, I thought we are gonna talk one by one.
Oh yeah,
Exactly. I think
that's
it'll be
totally
nice
fine
to
with
kind of
me.
vary it up. Now, Mika, I am very interested to see from all these different types of games, which I know you would enjoy, what would you consider to be like your top two? So give us your first one.
So you guys know that I always had a very soft spot for stealth games, right? And when
Mm.
it comes to stealth games, there's one game which I hold king above everything else. No pun intended, king in chat. Uh, that would be Thief, and we're getting
Oh,
a Thief VR game, and I can't be more excited. This could flop considerably, right? Like it could turn out really bad, but I'm seeing a lot of Thief elements in the original trailer, and hopefully I can show you to you guys as we are speaking. Let me fade cut to our trailer over here. So,
all right.
yeah,
So for those who don't know, Thief is like one of the stealth games that came out like I think early to mid 90s, which was like very foundational in the Western game dev scene to bring stealth gameplay into the forefront by showing people that it can be fun, that it can be difficult, and it can be, engaging for players.
Yep, and you see a lot of the same concepts they've taken from Thief. Okay, now since you guys have seen the trailer right here, we're seeing one of those tools right here, the rope shot, which is a tool that you use a lot during the original game. Some other
Mm,
concepts which are explored here. But just give me a second. Well, I mean, at this too, you might see in normal stealth games you're not really thinking of the ground, right? But in the case of Thief, you're actually thinking a lot of where you're walking. Like you see here, right? In when the character is pickpocketing the guard over here, they are walking on a carpet. See, when you walk on a carpet, you make actually less noise than
mm,
walking on something like a wooden floor or a marble floor. And they're sort of showing everything here. The other big one is, of course, if you're a thief, you're gonna be in the rafters looking for secret stuff everywhere. And perhaps not too displayed well in the trailer is the fact that Thief actually relies a lot on light. On the original game, there'll be a little diamond of swords that lets you know how like visible you are, right? We are not
mm.
seeing any of the gameplay HUD elements, so we don't quite know it. That, but they do show here by using a water arrow on the fire here.
Let me jump in here, Mika, and add a little something about two of the points you raised before I forget about them. First of all, the thing where when you step on different materials, it makes different noises, right? This was a thing that at the time was relatively unheard of in video games. Like every character's stepping sound was essentially one sound always, unless they were in water. And even then, that was rare. So for a game to come and actually put in the effort to make a different, like, footprint sounds on the material that you're standing on was actually really big. And now you see it everywhere, right? And like a game that is definitely nothing like Thief is Genshin Impact, right? But even in that game, when you step on carpet versus when you step on the ground with, like sand and rock and whatnot, versus when you're stepping on wooden floors, it makes a different sound. And that was, I wouldn't say the first game, but it was one of the things that popularized that concept. And the second thing is light and shadow in Thief was one of its key mechanics to the point that the main character, actually had an arrow that you could use to turn off lights at a distance.
Yep, and they sort
And
of
you
played
had to
around with it
manage that.
before. Yeah, as the
Yeah.
levels go on, you couldn't actually use because the setting of Thief is like semi cyberpunk supernatural, right? You see a bit of
Mm,
this at the end of the trailer too. Uh, so at the start, you have a lot of options like getting out torches, but as you proceed, they up the challenge by putting in electrical light fixtures, which makes it a lot more challenging. And you're right, King. It was very sensitive. It was one of the first PC games that I played, which was very, very difficult for me because they don't tell you anything. You have to sort of figure everything out there. Like back then, you weren't really thinking of, like Mooney said, now we have sounds for walking on grass or carpet or marble. But even now, stealth games don't really use sound that much. I am excited for it to be in VR because the surround sound and everything and the whole view, but I really, really hope they don't fumble it. In some senses, they're actually doing it quite alright because the original character, Garrett, is actually coming back at the very end of the trailer. What you're seeing there is that, the supernatural element that I was talking about before. Uh, Garrett had a magical eye crafted to him by one of the factions. The name's slipping me. And that eye is what the character is picking up. And for some reason, Garrett seems to be inside that. Because it's not the exact voice actor, but he's giving like a very raspy voice that Garrett is well known for. So
so Garrett walked so that Geralt could run, huh?
it's one way to think of it.
Now, another thing I want to say is we were talking about Hitman a little while ago, and we were saying how nice it is that that game allows you to play it quiet or play it guns blazing. But in Thief, if you try to blaze any guns, like you will get like snapped in half. Like you are such a weakling character, and I don't hate this. I think that this actually deliberately enforces the idea that sneaking, hiding, being cunning, those are your strengths, right? not like fisticuffs or like shooting people or anything like that. And it reinforces the idea that there is a way that this game is meant to be played. And I think that that alone is also a very bold choice by the developers.
Yep.
Which brings me to my question, Mika. I have a question. Who's behind this game? Who's making it?
Oh, I'm actually not entirely sure. I believe it is Vertigo Games, right? From the trailer, but I am not at all familiar with this company. So far, like compared to the Thief reboot of sorts we had, they are hitting all the right bells for me. Like you see all the Thief influences, even from the sneaking and everything, from the use of the tools. But because it's VR, a lot of people are also very unhappy because they want a real Thief game, a full-on Thief game. I'm hoping, I'm hoping this is our gateway for it, right? This is the game that says, "Hey guys, Thief still works in 2025. We can release a full game here. It doesn't need to be VR."
I hope that like this game renews interest in the Thief franchise, because the last time a Thief game came out, I don't think it really had the staying power. It was a very messy development as well.
Yep.
So, Thief deserves better.
And it didn't take the core concepts of the original Thief, like you mentioned. The concept of your character being like really, really weak. The only thing that you can do against a soldier or a guard is just sneak up behind them and club them. If you try anything like a frontal assault, it's very, very likely you'll be killed in a few seconds flat. So yes, the one game, my top game, surprisingly, is a VR game. So many of you might actually not know. King here definitely knows, but I actually play a lot of VR games because I feel like they give me that feeling of okay. It's like a very. I say this all the time. With VR games, you're never sure what to expect. It's like going back to the PS1 days where controls weren't standardized. Everything is like very weird and funky. And I get that same feeling from VR games. I don't showcase it much on this channel, but I love that stuff. So yes,
If it is possible to stream one day, it might be an interesting thing to stream as well. Although, dizziness has it for some people. And
uh,
yes, King, you are right. Agent 47 is built different.
well, there you have it, my first pick. And now that we've heard my and Ihum's first picks, what about you, Money? What are you looking forward to from Summer
All right,
Games Fest?
listen, like this was a hard decision, okay? Like there was so many games that I had my eye on. It was like very much kid in a candy store situation for me. Like I was looking one direction then the other. Like just when I thought I had the perfect game that I'm looking forward to, something else pops up. So I've finally managed to narrow it down to two. And interestingly, both of them deal with horror as a theme, but in very different ways. And graphically, they're very different as well, mechanically as well. So let's
Horror?
start with the more how do you say, the more modern, the more
Well
easy to
known.
digest game, and then also well known, I suppose. Yeah. So the first game that I want to talk about is Silent Hill F, right? So this seems to be a spin-off or a separate game that is being developed that is in the Silent Hill universe, right? And multiple things about this game grab my attention. First of all, I love that it is set in a Japanese town, because Japanese horror goes really hard when it comes to scaring the heck out of you, right? Like there are movies like Ringu or The Grudge or whatever that really, really just are absolutely terrifying. They really go psychological with that stuff. And another thing is
It is also a unique setting for a Silent Hill game, insofar as I know,
that
right? Because
that's
normally it's
exactly what I was
very,
gonna say. Sorry, go on.
because normally it's a very Western setting.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Most of the Silent Hill games that I know is set literally in the town of Silent Hill, right? And the question of why it is like that we are finally stepping out of it is something that's in my mind. And as a lore guy, I really want to see what they're doing here. My guess currently is that they're basically trying to imply that what happened in Silent Hill, in the sense that something messed up happened in the past, which created this town which is somewhat haunted and kind of being like affected by demonic or evil energies, can happen anywhere or in other places, is the vibe I'm getting, look, based on the trailer and everything. So I'm really interested to see why exactly this is happening here. That's another thing. And the third thing is, it looks so scary, right? And I don't just mean the moments of tension, I also mean the monsters, the violence, the general, like, ugly grittiness of it all. Like, even the main character throughout the trailers looks like she's really going through the worst days of her life, right? And
Oh, I
then
wonder if
there
that's
is,
actually a health mechanic, right? We still haven't
yeah,
seen any
that's
HUD, right? And
No,
I,
that's
no, no. We
true.
did see there
Oh,
was
did
a
we?
Konami press start event, I think, yesterday, and it showed a couple of seconds where the HUD is.
oh, okay, I did not watch this.
I
Yeah,
if
they
it is
actually,
not,
the developers actually came and talk about it. Like it
so
was more developer side than the trailer side.
all good. So if this is not a HP mechanic, my guess is gonna be it's like the modern Tomb Raider games, whereas the story progresses, her like outfit gets worn away, right? Now, on the list of things that I am also very excited about for this game is that a lot of the trailers and the things that are being discussed here deal with bullying, harassment, like
V-
torture, and these kind of,
Psychological themes that Silent Hill is no different.
yeah, and that really excites me, especially because, like, from a cultural sense, Japan also has a lot of these kind of problems, and in the horror movies and stuff that we see from the country, we see that people really struggle with this stuff, right? So, like, really going deep into it and experiencing it is gonna be really nice. And um, I've heard that the voice actress for the main character, it kind of like went so hard with the voice acting that she felt like she was gonna faint by the end of it. And I'm not here, encouraging voice actors faint or anything, but I just think that's like a little sign that okay, she really gave it her all, you know. So I can't wait to give this a listen. I know for sure that this is not gonna be a game that I can just continuously play, you know, and do multiple runs of or whatever because it's gonna scare the heck out of me. But horror is meant to be scary, so I see that as an absolute plus. You know, in an age where we've seen so many horror games of so many different types, body horror and all of that stuff, for a game to genuinely make you uncomfortable is an achievement. So I'm really excited for Silent Hill F. And what's more exciting is that this is just one of the Silent Hill games coming up, right? We've got a remake for the first one coming up, and I think that there are some other Silent Hill projects that are in the works as well, but this one I specifically wanted to highlight because this one seems like the biggest risk, the most unique. Like they're really going for something here.
And something very different too. In a way, you could say that Silent Hill 2 remake has really opened up the door for us getting these again, because I really like the original Silent Hill, and I'm happy they're remaking it. But to also get these other horror games, which I feel something that's not often discussed, by the way, is that horror games actually appeal to a very wide audience of people, and these are one of the games that I can actually discuss. Let's say with my sisters who don't usually play video games, and I find that very intriguing that we're getting more and more games like this.
They're also really fun to play with an audience, so streaming them might be really fun as well. I remember a little while back when Tahsin was doing a stream of Ellen Wake and was just absolutely going bananas, and people really enjoyed that. So who knows? Maybe you'll see a Silent Hill F stream from me, you know, as I slowly lose my mind on stream.
I definitely remember that thing, that the stream with Tahsin. All right, I remember the part where he got jump scared by a chair falling. So yes, it is
That
one of the very entertaining things to actually have on stream. And like, and if you guys really want Mooney to come in here and stream and get his reactions, you know where to find us.
the only difference between stream and scream is one letter. All right, now that's me done. So I'm gonna throw it back once again to you, I am. Let's see what your next pick is. So if like 007 was your unusual pick, I am gonna have a guess for what your next pick is gonna be, and when you reveal it, I'll let you know whether my guess is right or wrong. So go ahead.
Oh yeah, before I talk about it, I actually want to talk a bit about Silent Hill FE1.
Oh, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Oh, sure, go
So
on ahead.
so a few months back that I remember, there was this uh caution for this game, like please read before playing something, which actually got the attention of a lot of people. And like you said, like the game contains depictions of a lot of like graphical violence and stuff. But for me, the most interesting part about the entire this message that Konami gave was that yeah, the game was and and I quote, this game is set in Japan in the 1960s and contains depictions based on the customs and culture of that time. And this specific sentence got me interested. Like, I think we are gonna see some things that are very controversial, but I think it would be either way in the way justified because not justified, but
In a way, I
we
Justified
will
think
in the
know.
depiction is
Yeah.
what you mean, right? Like
Yes. Yes.
there's a context reason for why it's there.
Yes.
in a way, I think they're already touching upon like very, pardon the pun again, very touchy subjects because these places are known to actually suppress bullying and crimes a lot, right? It's the same with Korea as well. If I'm mistaken, just let me know here.
You, as far as I know, you are correct. A lot of really messed up stuff happens because of the high amounts of stress and tension that exists in society. And there's also this tendency to try to keep it a little bit under the wraps so that, like, how do you say, social cohesion and, the nice surface is preserved. Also, y'all, like, have you seen these character designs? They look so disgusting. I'm so excited.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, have you guys seen the steelbook version of this game? I mean,
I have
the
not.
cover.
Of
It
course, you have
it's
to see
so
the steelbook version. I am.
it's so
For
creepy and
context,
it's a piece of art.
listeners and viewers, Iham is the collector of steelbooks among us. He is like a steelbook librarian at this point.
If there's
Yes.
one person among us who's a physical collector's edition, it's I am. And we all love him for it.
And one day, when all of our favorite online game places kind of shut down and take all the games, he's gonna be the only one playing anything.
Yeah. Yeah, the reason I actually bring this up because one, it's very creepy, and the other one is it's like a piece of art. Like it's very Silent Hill. It's better for you guys to actually go and check it out for yourself because when I look it up from Google, there's a lot of it's also it's blurred, so I think it's best not to
Very
show it.
risque stuff,
Yes,
huh? Okay.
yes, yes. I think it's better for you all to go and check it.
Yikes! That is horrifying. Okay, I just took a look at it. I don't think we should put it on stream, but okay,
Well,
yeah.
don't worry, guys. I'm not going to show it. What you're seeing in the background is actually the developer commentary that I am just reminded me of. So we're
Yes,
not
I
going to show it. Remember, we are MN Gaming.
Yeah,
yes.
gaming for everyone and all that. But
Yeah, but I
now,
recommend you all to go and check out that artwork.
with the
So
caution that it is disgusting and gross in its own way, so be warned, viewer beware.
yeah, so
Now, with that
let's move
back,
on.
yeah, exactly. Let's leave Silent Hill behind and let's go to your next game. I am like, which small town are we visiting this time? Hint, hint. That's a hint at my guess.
So so the thing is, I actually thought about my second game,
Hmm.
and I actually was thinking about it. Like there were a couple of ones, but there was one specific game that I wanted to talk about a lot, and that made me want to pick this game over the other ones.
I
Even
know.
though they might
I
be
know.
cool.
I know you were like really excited for this, and you were like really hoping this was announced. So, if
Yes.
you guys are in the chat, I'm gonna give you guys like 5 seconds to make your guesses as to what Ihem's next pick is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna give a hint. It was actually announced in the Expo showcase.
All
All right, your
right,
5 seconds are
five.
up. So,
Exactly. Five, four, three, two, one. There you go. What's the What's the
Uh,
game? I already made my
it's
guess.
yeah, it's Persona 4
I
Revival.
knew it. I knew it. I got it. That was my guess. Okay, no, I'm sorry. Elaborate.
So me, I was happy and at the same time a bit disappointed.
Hmm.
As in, I was happy that yes, they finally announced it after so much teasing, so much leaks and everything. They finally revealed that game that this is real.
Mm,
And couple of weeks leading up to this, the original English voice actors for this game one by one was telling that uh, Atlas haven't told them to come and voice the characters. Like I think Yosuke, uh, yeah, I forgot the names of the characters, but coincidentally,
Yosuke, Teddy, Yukiko,
yes, yes,
GA.
yes. A couple of voice actors were saying that, and there were a lot of leaks leading up to this, and it was more and more convincing that yeah, a remake is coming. And so the thing is, about a year back, I think sometime around last year, I was actually planning to play Persona 4 Golden, and right about when I actually wanted to buy it, there was a small rumor that there's gonna be a remake for this game, and at that time, I made the decision that not to buy it gold, and I'm gonna wait for the remake. And we are not and I'm not gonna over analyze the 27 seconds trailer that you are seeing right now. But actually, I'm want to actually tell you all why I'm actually waiting to buy this game for $60 or $70 instead of playing gold, and which actually you can get it for very free.
Just so you guys know, the footage you're seeing from is the Golden trailer. I shifted to it, but yes, the teaser was so short. I was so disappointed. They had this great build up to showing Inaba, and then the music kicks in, and it's like P4 in development. And I'm like, where's everything else?
Yes, that was the disappointment part. The happy part was yes, this is real. So
Now,
yeah,
let me jump in and say a few things about Persona 4 in case anybody is not aware who's listening, right? Persona is a game series by developer Atlas, Japanese developer, and Persona 4 is obviously the fourth game, sort of, in that series. It's complicated, but series has this thing, especially after the third part, to release the game and then to release a kind of director's cut or complete version of the game that adds a little bit more story, a little bit more gameplay options, and so on into it, right? And Golden is that thing. But now in the modern day, they're doing this thing where they're remaking some of their old games using their new tech to kind of polish them up and whatnot. Now, we've already seen Persona 3 get remade, right? Persona 3 Reload. So, what's the Persona 4R? What's the R stand for?
it's called revival.
Oh, okay, like a TV show. Okay, that's pretty cool. In case anybody didn't know, Persona 4 TVs are a big recurring motif in it. And this is a small town mystery story, which is a game that a lot of people really love because they think that the story has a really good focus on the issue at hand. The small town, is really brought to life, and it really simulates that feeling of like hanging out with your friends and uncovering mysteries and just small town life, sometimes doing fun stuff, right? And I am not the biggest Persona fan, but I'm really happy to see this happen. What are
Yeah.
your expectations for this game? I am.
So I want like I said before, let me actually tell you all why I'm waiting to play the remake instead of gold. So I think first of all, the very obvious answer is that we there'll be a complete graphical overhaul. There'll be new sprites, new artworks, and everything, and that's something I like. I mean, I started playing games, I would say recently, so much of the older graphical graphics are not something that I would say prefer. I mean, I won't say I hate it, but I mostly prefer the newer graphics instead of the older ones.
I
Then,
totally understand because I have a friend who I've been trying to convince to play the original Persona 3 for ages. Not you, I am, in case you're wondering. But he refused to pick up Persona 3 until the remake came out. So yes, the graphics are pretty important for newer people. The you still wish SMT4 remake? You know what? I'm totally with you because SMT4 is stuck on the 3DS, and if you did not have a
Oh
3DS,
yeah.
Skewer, you couldn't play it. I had a 2DS, so I had the pleasure of it, and it's a shame that we're not getting more SMT stuff. But well, Persona is dragging everything along, so we could hope. We could always hope. So
My
yes,
main concern regarding this game, right, is something like this. When Persona 3, the complete edition, which is called FES, came out, it had extra story content, like an extra chapter and an extra character and all. And when the remake of Persona 3 came about, there was a controversy where it was like, okay, here's the base game. Now you have to pay extra for the DLC, which will include the PES. Sorry, not the PES, the FES parts. Like, what are the people saying, Iham? Like, are we about to see a repeat of that? Or are they planning to give us the whole of Golden?
I'm not actually sure, but I think based on what Atlas is doing, I think they will go with that route.
The DLC route?
Yes, I
Oh
think so.
man.
But I think Atlas will know how much of the negative feedback that the edition for the Persona 3 got, so they might even reconsider. But for now, I'm not exactly sure.
Let's hope they do reconsider because personally I think that, paying extra for a DLC for a game that you already released like about a decade ago, it's kind of in poor taste.
so like
Just my
Skier
opinion.
said over here, I'm not sure if you guys know, but the golden stuff is pretty much an epilogue, not an epilogue per se. I would say that would be Persona for Dancing, but the content for golden actually really follows the main story. So leaving that out is gonna be very very weird. It's not a separate scenario like the answer. Again, Skewer is actually reading my mind here. So I feel like if they didn't include this properly, it's gonna be a problem because it
Yeah,
happens in
fair
the
enough.
final term of the game.
My thing is that as a gamer, I'm more familiar with the answer and also Persona 5 Royal, but not 4. So this might actually be my opportunity to play for like the extra content included because I played the base game and that was about it.
All right, if you guys have Royal experience, I think it's very similar because even Royal, the term was extended, right, to include the new characters and everything.
Yeah,
So,
but that meant an extra ending be tacked onto the end, right? That's what I'm expecting. Instead, what you're saying is that new stuff has been incorporated into the game itself, yeah?
in a way, yes. But it is possible that even with the extra stuff, the way it works, without spoiling too much, is that if you meet certain conditions, you're actually gonna get this last set of dungeons.
Mm.
But if you do not, then you go on to the original scenario in a way. So yes, I am. You were telling us what you were looking forward to in revival.
So yeah, so yeah, like Mika said, I think what you said is correct because in Persona 5, if I mean the royal part, something similar will happen to it even. Like if there's a certain character that will show up in royal, and if you don't get up the social link level up to a certain standard, the royal ending will never happen even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yeah, let me actually tell more about why I'm looking forward to this game. So along with the graphical overhaul, I'm actually looking forward to new music because in Persona 3 it turns out that almost all of the songs were remade and there were new songs even, which I actually really like and even listening to every single day. Like Color Your Night is one good example for it.
Oh
And
man,
there's also the
color
and
your
there's
night.
also the yes.
I know
That's the
exactly how you feel because once I started hearing, I played that on repeat for like 2 to 3 days nonstop.
yeah, it's such a good song. And there's the new Advantage Better team. It's going down now. Man, that song is so good for Better team. And you know what? Like couple of weeks back, Atlas themselves announced that they have over 100 million streams on Spotify for that song. That's I think it's a huge accomplishment for a soundtrack. I mean, a song of a game.
Yeah, I mean it is kind of notable that when the dancing series began, it actually started with Persona 4 because their music was so good, and the remixes in dancing was also equally good. So, like I have said, like you're saying, I am, it is very likely that we're gonna get an amazing soundtrack with this.
Yes. So along with the songs, I am expecting better, not better. I am having high expectation for the menu event because have you seen the menu in Persona 3 Reload?
Oh,
It's
man.
so good. I mean, Atlas for me, Atlas are like the best out there when it comes to menu UI, and they have been stepping up every single game. And in
Oh,
Persona
the menu of
3 Reload,
Metaphor as well was fantastic.
yes, yes, and you know what? In Persona 3 Reload, the transitions are very smooth in combat. Yeah, I am waiting to see how they are gonna top that. The better team, the menu transition. So overall, I am actually like telling all of this is because that for me, Persona 3 Reload is the most fun I had in a game recently. Yes, there were other games out there, but for me, Persona 3 is the number one stop spot
I'll,
because
sorry,
what
I'm
was I gonna
just
say?
responding to Skier here. I'll be honest, Skier, I didn't even realize that the regular battle theme was the new one because I got so used to it.
Yeah, the new better team was the advantage better team, and the OG one is the regular one, as in the non-advantage one. So
Yep.
yeah, what I was gonna say is that uh, Persona 3 Reload is the most fun I had in a game, and I would say there were some like factors leading up to it. Like turn-based for me is probably the most fun combat system out there, but it's not the combat itself that made the game fun for me. It's everything that comes in it, the experience. As in, Persona 3 had Reload had cool animations. Like the better team was so good. You can sing to it, you can vibe to it. There are moments in the song where you can actually wait and time it correctly. There were rewarding sprites, as in this is a game where the basic gist of the game is that there are elemental weaknesses, and if you hit the correct weakness, there'll be sprite that comes to the screen. And for me, it's like a reward. And getting that reward sign was very like the feeling was very good, and the overall vibe. So adding up to everything, I had lots of fun with this game, and I think Persona 4 like could do this, like top this off, either top Persona 3 or come close to it.
Well, I for one am actually interested in this game, but I will make a joke here, which is that Atlas is really proving that the distance between 5 and 6 is infinity. Because they could be talking about Persona 6, but let's just re-release some of our old games instead, you know?
Uh,
But
I've
I will admit, this does look like a really good game.
I've mentioned this to you guys before. They're not gonna release 6 until they're done releasing every possible remake for Persona possible and milking the franchise.
Okay,
And the sad part is that I am actually here for it.
Me too.
uh, I want Persona 2 to be remade. I will say this, I will
Innocent
actually
Sin?
like get that game, both of them, Innocent Sin and Eternal Punishment, like the duology. Like I am a big fan of that game. I really like it. I think it's the most underrated, and I think that it has one of the sickest Persona protagonists of all time. I think his name is Baofu, if I remember correctly. Like he's such an amazing guy. Like he's the coolest Persona character, like by far. And modern Persona fans will never know how sick this guy is. So I want this game to come out so people will be like, okay, we thought all this Phantom Thievery was cool, but no, Baofu is where it's at. All right.
Oh no. But Zane, don't give them ideas. I don't want a Persona 5 Night Rain.
Yeah. And you know
Persona
what?
5 Night
After the
Rain.
announcement of this game, the revival, I think one of the devs, I think producer, uh, he gave a big he wrote a big paragraph and he acknowledged Persona 6 is real. Like he didn't say out loud, but I mean directly, but he at that moment he was mentioning Persona 6, so there's some hope for it. I think Persona 6 will be released for the next gen, not this gen.
I see. Well, anything else anybody wants to add into the discussion topic of Persona, or can we see what Mika has as his last game that he is most excited for?
I mean, I think we've talked enough about Persona, right? And if we talk about Persona, we're going to end up doing this all night. You guys know that reference. If you know it, you know it.
Dancing all night, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
Uh, okay, so yeah, I've actually been. There are a lot of interesting stuff, right? That was revealed during the days of the Dev Showcase. Generally speaking, I like games that are very experimental, and they showed a lot of experimental stuff in that stream. Responding to Zane here, yes, he did say that it was looking good, but you know, us Persona fans, we're like, okay, even if it's not a mention of six, we're gonna find that little thread and say, yeah, you know what, six is in development. We know its color is green. We know its protagonist is gonna be cool, and some people are actually sort of speculating it might be even be middle-aged people and not teenagers, which I personally doubt. But yes, the day of the dev stream, like I said, a lot of interesting stuff. And one of those stuff, picking another stealth option here, was the game Thick as Thieves. So I'm wondering if either of you have heard of this one.
Because Thieves, I don't remember or recognize the name, but maybe when I see the trailer, I might be able to pick up on it.
All right, let me put this up here. So the basic concept of Thick of Thieves is that it's a multiplayer game and you are actually trying to steal an item from it. But at the same time, other players are trying to steal their own items. We don't know if it's the same item or not, whether you guys are competing for the same thing or not, or if they have their own objectives. But either way, you all have to sneak in, get out with as much treasure as possible. And what's interesting for me is that it's taking a lot of the same concepts from what I was talking about here before. Thief, right? You're looking at shadows, light, sound, everything. But just imagine Thief, but now you're playing with three other people who can either hinder you or help you in some ways. That's the basic concept of Thick of Thieves.
Okay, so basically it's like a game where you can essentially help or hurt players while trying to roleplay as thieves. Is it like a sandbox? Like oh yeah, I remember seeing this trailer. Is it giving you like sandbox, black box kind of like
It is
vibes or what?
very much a black box game. Like imagine like a Dishonored like area. That's the same concept here. You have one big area and everyone's trying to find their items here.
Mm, okay, okay, I can see this being really fun. Yeah,
And like you're seeing
and
it in the trailer right now. We're actually sneaking through an NPC's house, getting a hint for our whatever we're looking for.
okay. Hey, Zay. Welcome to Twitch chat.
It's fine. We won't let anyone know. This WAD will be deleted to preserve your secrets.
Yeah, it's just you, me, the Meng team, and all of our viewers.
So yeah, the basic concept is that you're actually going after this item, but then each of the characters have unique abilities. Some of them can is called a chameleon. He can disguise himself other people. You have a person with a grappling hook, a person with traps. So you have your own type of character, and you're trying to like hinder each other. The one thing you can do, for example, is let someone else go through all the setup of trying to get to the right item, right? The item. And at the very last second, you could just wait. And at the very last second, you could knock them out and steal it and run away. That's the problem, right? That's one thing you can do. Oh, sorry. I meant problem as in they somehow the Nightbot always starts being weird when you're using caps. I need to fix that, and I keep telling myself that, but I never gotten around to it. But yes, that's one thing you can do is actually, like I said, just sweep in and get the item when someone else did all the work. Alternatively, what you could do is you could get the item, trigger the alarm, so anyone who's following you will now have to deal with everything. It sounds very, very interesting to me.
Yeah, I think it sounds like a very fun game.
What surprises me the most, Mika, is you, somebody who really loves that single player, slow paced, I'm gonna find my own way approach, is excited for a multiplayer game. Like,
It's just
this
a
is the
general
biggest surprise.
it's just a general concept of it, right? So we don't usually get games that are about stealthing and thievery. Believe it or not, you guys, when Assassin's Creed Revelations and Assassin's Creed 3 launched, they had a multiplayer game, right? And a multiplayer component. And what you
Yeah.
had to do there was assassinate other characters, other players by each among the pool of players, you were giving a target and someone who was pursuing you. So you had to assassinate the other player while avoiding the player that was pursuing you. And I loved that concept. I think that multiplayer was one of the most fun I had. Like, generally speaking, if you allow me to be tricky, I really like games like that. I'm going to give you an example of something that happened in the multiplayer, and this is a bit off topic here, but just let me tell you guys the situation.
All
So,
right, let's let him cook, I him.
so I had my target in front of me, like, and he's right out in the open, like a bit of a new player, and my pursuer is right behind me. So what I did was reveal myself, immediately get my target, run around a corner, and wait for my pursuer to follow me. And what happened was, since the pursuer was trying to chase me as fast as possible, he just ran. I'm waiting on the corner, around the corner, since he can't see me. And the moment he got in front of me, I stunned him. And then I ran away. So, in that moment, he again got me as a target. And after a while, after the stun wears off, he's coming after me, and I can still see him from around the corner. So what I did there was actually place a trap a few feet away from me and then just come out in the open, and he still fell for that trap. So stuff like that, it's very, very entertaining, as you can imagine.
I can imagine. And also, speaking of tricky, I am. This man just basically sold us two different thief games and thought that we wouldn't notice.
You know, I was going to tell a joke
Go ahead.
regarding it. Like, yeah, Mika said that, yeah, we are going to talk about, like, he's going to talk about two stealth games. And funny enough, two games have the word thief in it.
I mean, I love my thief games. I cannot lie.
Okay, so it looks like somebody who's been starved for a while is finally getting to eat. So happy for you, Mika.
Yeah, and this is not the only thief stealth game on Summer Games Fest or the other shows too. There was a couple of others, but I'm gonna swap. I'm gonna avoid telling you guys here because we have some honorable mentions later if we have the time for it. So we got our two games out of the way. Mooney, what is your final
All
pick?
right. So I told you with the last game that I'm talking about something that the last game was something that is a little bit more modern, a little bit more approachable, like something that a lot more people know, a little bit more popular. So this one though, this one is just for me. Like I have been following the development of this game for such a long time. Like hearing that it's coming out soon and knowing that it's almost here has me really excited. Okay? So the game is called Mina the Hollower, and it is a game that is being developed by the same people who made Shovel Knight, and it's like a kind of top-down 2D pixel art, very like how do you say, technicolor looking colors and very old video game style game. And the reason why I like this a lot is multiple things. First of all, um the people behind Shovel Knight are excellent developers. Okay, like Shovel Knight is a fantastic game. All of its DLCs are really good as well. It's mechanically great. The story is pretty enjoyable and everything. And they put their heart and soul into this thing. And the game also got a lot of really good post game release. Post game support after it was released, and that's just great. They obviously care about their games. And now this one gives me the energy of old school Castlevania, right? It gives me the energy of like old NES games or Sega games that we might play when we were a bit younger. And because it is being made by this team, I'm fairly confident that they will put all the things that they've learned not only from Shovel Knight itself, but also from other games like this to make this to be a genuinely enjoyable experience, right? And another thing is I love whips as a weapon. I think it's one of the coolest things ever, and I think Indiana Jones might have had something to do with that. But the point is, you don't really get a lot of games where your character is the whip character. Sure, you might have the whip option, but even in Souls games, if you have a whip, you can't exactly like critical hit anybody or anything like that. So having a game where you are the whip character and you take on all of these like monsters from classic horror or some new inventions and stuff like that, navigating like platforming puzzles, and especially because it is like a top-down perspective, is which is another thing that is really appealing to me because
Yeah.
these
This is
guys.
actually one of the reasons why I was interested in it because despite having that same aesthetic of Castlevania, right, it also has a very Zelda feel to it.
It does, and the cool thing for me is these guys made one of the generational best 2D side-scrolling platformers. And now they just flip in the camera. Like it would have been so easy for them to make this a 2D side scroller as well, but they decided to challenge themselves for going for a new perspective, and I really want to see what that's about. You know,
I
it
mean,
seems genuinely fun. And another thing I want to add, Mika, before you go on, is that the sheer amount of creative ideas that are on display, even in this short trailer, is astounding, right? So many items, so many types of enemies, so many environments, so many puzzles, so many bosses, so many skyboxes. Like the animations are so like how do you say, sharp and crisp. The sound, it has that like old school chiptune sound going on. Like look at that thing that looked like a huge crocodile or whatever. Like it just looks so sick, right? So yeah, Mina the Hollower might not have been on many people's like top list, but I think it looks great. I think that in this day and age where everybody's so obsessed with photorealism or whatever, getting a game that looks old as bones and plays really well and is super fun is just like such a treat. If gaming evolved to a point where we no longer get games like this, I'd actually feel genuinely sad about it. Like I want to highlight this one because this one is a little bit of what I feel like what the spirit of gaming should be about. Pick a concept, pick an aesthetic, and commit.
I mean, it's like they said, right? These guys, Yacht Cup games, are actually keeping this type of gameplay alive, and I think that's pretty important because even I love this stuff. And I feel like one of the things I did when this trailer was released was I showed it to my younger sibling, and they were like, "Do they still make games like this?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then they were like, "Why do they make games like this?" And I'm like, "Because it's fun. You should try it. It gives a completely new audience a chance to go over the same mechanics, the same style that we enjoyed, and that should really be preserved."
Zay has a really interesting quote that he's dropping here, which I agree with. He says that he needs a little less photorealism in his fantasy sometimes, and I agree with you, Zay, especially because like when you really look at like the long history of gaming up until now, the games that tend to last the longest in the public eye tend not to be the games that are necessarily photorealistic, but things that have a very like discernible and specific art style. Like for example, Okami, right? Or Psychonauts or Banjo-Kazooie. Like these games have very specific looks to them that help them last the test of time, and people are still talking about Jack 3, right? So my point is art style trumps over graphical fidelity every time, and yet there is still this push for let's make, all the games look more realistic. Let's make the gore more realistic or whatever. But like even though photorealism can be fun in certain games, like for example 007, a good art style can really carry you. And I mean, look at Atlas games. They live and die by their art style.
It's interesting that you mentioned 007 because 007's art style is actually, isn't just me? I kind of felt like it was kind of different from the normal photorealism style that people usually go for. Like,
I'm not saying it's ugly, yeah, but something that you should know is that it is definitely photorealistic because there are some of these characters there that were literally just the faces of actors. Like I definitely saw somebody from The Walking Dead there, a black character.
All right, fair enough. It's
Also, like one of the main character, I think that guy, the motion cap is done by the actor who played in the recent Dexter series. I
Oh,
don't remember the
interesting.
name. Yes.
Okay, okay, that's good to know. But yeah, bringing it back to Mina the Hollower a little, like, yeah, this is a small game. I'ma admit it. Like, there are literally towering giants at the Game Fest, but I want this game to receive a little bit of a highlight because I've been excited for this for ages, and I know that there are audiences out there who would also be excited for little games like this because if every game you ever played was a super serious, world-ending, like genre-defining masterpiece, I think that that's a little limiting, even though masterpieces are supposed to be good. You gotta eat your junk food a little. You gotta diversify your palate, you know? So playing a little platformer where you're a cute little mouse girl who uses a whip is good for you sometimes. It's like eating your veggies, if your veggies tasted like candy.
that's one way
Also,
to put
Zay
it.
is right, whip supremacy.
I don't know about that. No, I'm more of a spear person, so but that is a
My
Yeah, I'm more
conversation
of a
for
sword
another time.
person.
the whip agenda continues. But you guys, yeah, that's the one. And I personally don't know what the Hollower is meant to be, but I don't know. I think it just looks real cool. You know, it gives me the feeling of a Castlevania game crossed with Disney with the camera angle of Legend of Zelda, the old ones. Like that's
That
the vibe I'm
chiptune
getting.
music is definitely very Castlevania, right?
Very much so. And I mean, even the covers of the game, like initially when I started seeing images of it and all, it had this thing where the main character was facing the back towards the camera and looking towards like a castle in the distance with their whip in one hand, which was like the most Castlevania thing ever, because I've seen definitely there are a few Castlevania covers that look exactly like that.
All right, fellas, I think that is all for our picks. But there were plenty of other games, and I said Summer Games Fest. We are sort of over the limit of our time, but I think we have time to pick up on some other games that you all were interested in.
Yeah, a little bit of an honorable mentions, right? So I'm gonna I'll give the floor over to either one of you guys who wants to step in and talk a little bit about other games that caught your attention. Now, obviously, we can't give them the gushing, you know, 10 to 20 minute endorsement that we gave to our faves, but you know, shine a little light on them. Tell us about what caught your eye.
I have, if you'd please.
So yeah,
Yeah, let's go
I will start.
alphabetical this time with A for IHUM.
You know what? I have been facing that same thing since school.
Uh, okay,
Yeah,
so
like Zai said, I have my first name and my middle name starts with A, and like funny enough, every single time I will be at the top of the class from the alphabetical order. So I am forced to go number one always in every single year.
it's okay. I mean, you are our number one player here, especially for
Yeah,
RPGs and gachas.
yeah. Okay, so my honorable mentions. So one game that I wasn't expecting at all, and funny enough, the game was leaked like 12, I think, a day before it was announced, and it was actually Renaissance, a Plague Tale Legacy. So
Oh yeah.
a new entry to the Plague Tale series, and turns out that this is going to be a prequel to the series. And funny enough, I mean, it will take place in ancient Greek. So I think this game will actually shed the light on the entire thing about plague, the black,
Oh,
the
wait a
plague,
minute, it's
the
a
black.
prequel? I thought it was a
Yes,
sequel.
it's
I
a
actually thought
prequel.
it was a
Yeah,
spin-off.
I just checked a while ago and it says prequel.
Oh, okay.
Um, I want to weigh in a little bit on this, okay? Like because I tend to be the story and lore guy. So you are correct in that it is taking place in ancient Greece, and specifically looking at the golden thread, looking at the being in a labyrinth aspect of it all. This seems to be about the Colossus. Sorry, not the Colossus, the Minotaur. Um,
Yes.
and is it from Minos? Something like that.
Yeah. So the So from what I read just now, this game will take place in Minato Island. I think it's part of Crete,
Crete, yes, that's
Crete, yes,
yeah.
Crete Island.
It's definitely taking a lot of
So
inspiration from that Minotaur labyrinth thing, right?
I specifically mentioned this because you see that golden thread that the very prominently features in the game, right? Like the
Yes,
trailer.
exactly.
There's a kind of myth, I think, where somebody is told to navigate the Minotaur's maze, and they had this golden thread that they used to make their way through it. So yeah, I'm thinking they're definitely going into this. But I do want to say this: it's a little weird to give an origin story to the Black Plague. Yes, it just happened. I mean, there was real life reasons why it happened.
And they're going a bit different from what I was expecting to. I honestly thought this was a sequel because they have the same looking character here, right? But the myth that you're mentioning is actually this whole thing is actually reminding me of it, right? Because you're talking about Ariadne's myth, right?
Mm,
Like
exactly.
the Minotaur takes her to an island, and Dionysus uses a thread to escape the
Oh wait,
labyrinth.
I'm not sure if that's the right one, but either way, the concept seems to be the same. So yeah. Iham, you got any more on your list?
Yes. So next up is Moodang Two Hearts. This was a interesting pick, and it's a stealth game, so I'm pretty sure this will be in Mika's list.
Is it a stealth game though? It looked very
It
actiony, right?
There were a bit of stealth elements, so I'm gonna count as a stealth game
You know, I'm actually
by
not
modern standard.
sure how the game is actually working because it seems to be taking place across multiple perspectives, right?
Yeah, so I was checking about the game, and turns out that this game is actually based on a webtoon called Moodang,
And
Moodang.
oh, so it has nothing to do with the little hippo,
The,
Mudeng.
Yes.
okay, I gotta ask, what do you mean by the little hippo?
There's this little
Oh,
baby hippopotamus that went viral a couple of months ago called Mudeng because she kept biting her zookeeper. So I was like, okay, so Mudeng's getting a game? That's wild, but this looks nothing related.
and you know what? The interesting part about the premise is that this game is set in a unified Korea, so North Korea and South Korea are unified.
Oh, interesting. Is it
Yes.
like a alternate universe kind of deal, or is it before the separation?
I think it's in the future.
I definitely recognize that bridge there. Like that bridge is that famous suicide bridge, right?
Uh, I'm not exactly sure.
Anyway,
So is this a
well,
story game or what? Like, what's that? What's the vibe? Is this just a third-person shooter? Like, what's happening here?
And so you get to play as two characters. One, which you are seeing right now, is you get to play as a soldier, and also you get to play as a K-pop star, which is found interesting.
Yeah, I would say so. Like the stealth character and the action character offering two different styles of gameplay. I could see it.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit of zombies, like from the trailers. It showed like the people were running very weird.
Fair enough. All right. I think we're spending a little bit too much time
Okay, okay,
on
so
these games, so let's
okay,
let's
okay,
move to the
so
next one.
next game is Lumines Arise, Lumines
Luminance.
Arise, Lumines, yes, Lumines Arise. So yeah, this was announced, like this is the first game that was announced in the PlayStation Showcase, and when I was looking at it, I was actually wondering what game this could be, and there was a part of me that was saying Tetris, because there was a huge wide of colors, and there was a bit of interesting music to it,
Wait, to be
and
fair, it has that very Tetris effect look to it.
yeah, and later it was revealed to be Tetris, and I haven't played Tetris. If Tetris Effect is it the correct name?
Yep, that is
Yeah,
indeed it.
yeah, yeah. I haven't played Tetris Effect yet, but that's one game that I am actually looking forward to it because one this like the music is really good, and you know what? You know what? The reason why I'm interested in this game is actually because of the music. Because after this trailer came out, like I mean, then show after the showcase ended, what I went and searched was the music of this trailer. Not
Yeah.
every single game that was announced. I need the music of this trailer. It was really
So,
good.
is it like music that is specific to this game or what?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's
The
pretty
music is
cool.
specific to this game.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Sorry,
Krista
just
just
responding
mentioned
to. Yeah.
yes. Yeah, I was also responding to it. So yeah, Lumen's Erase is developed by the same people who made Tetris Effect.
Oh, okay. Skewer Star is also confirming what you're saying. I am.
Yeah.
Looks like we're onto
So yeah,
something.
let's move on to the next game, which is Pragmata, a long game that was delayed, announced, and showed up unexpectedly this time.
This is definitely one of those games that was revealed even before the PS5 came out, right? And this was originally slated to be released in 2022, and they kept delaying it and delayed. So it's a bit of a, are we really sure it's going to be okay? And apparently, from the preview, it's very mixed, right? I have the gameplay loop.
Yeah, like there is like there's a android character that will be joining you, and turns out that there's a very slight couple of seconds in the trailer that shows that I think in during combat that we had to hack the enemies. So there's dual combat.
So yes,
Oh, kind of like Near Automata in a way.
this is that exact
Ah, no,
frame.
no, no,
If you
no,
guys
not
are
not not
watching it,
not. I don't think that's similar to Neo Automata. Like at the same time, one guy shooting, the other person is hacking at the same screen.
yeah, that's the main loop, I think, Mooney. If you're looking at our stream right now, you can see that the gunplay is happening on the left, but on the right, you're also doing the hacking mini puzzle. Instead of doing it one by one, you're doing it at the same time. You're shooting and doing the hacking mini game, and apparently, it's very, very entertaining for some people. Well, it's very off-putting for the others. So this is going to be a mixed game. I'm 100% sure of it.
I'll say this, okay? These days I've noticed that there are like TikToks and stuff where like, somebody is telling you a story, but then the visuals is like Minecraft platforming, or like somebody is showing you a reel and then there's like the other half of the screen which is like some ASMR stuff. And like the attention of the people online are kind of just in splinters. So this might actually entertain a lot of people being overstimulated like that.
Okay, so let's talk about my final game. So I'm sure that there is uh I actually want both of you to wait for me to reveal the one specific thing because I'm pretty sure you both will know what I'm going to talk about with this game, and it's Beast of Reincarnation. So I was actually
Thing.
very excited for this game when I watched the trailer. Like there was this vibe that I actually really like, and the combat actually really looks nice even. And a
Hmm.
couple of days later, I actually found out that this is a Souls-like, and uh,
And your
my mind
interest
changed a bit.
completely evaporated.
Yes. So I'm someone who doesn't like Souls-like. I mean, there are some parts of Souls-like that I like, some parts that I don't like, but overall, I would say I don't like it. So yeah, if it's slow, if this game is closer to Dark Souls, then yeah, I'm not interested in this game. But I might still try it. But if this game is more closer to Stellar Blade or the Jedi series, then this is the day one game for me. If
It's
this
definitely
turns out
giving me
anywhere.
very Stellar Blade vibes with the machinery and everything going around.
Oh
I
no no
want
no
to
no.
say something about this game that I think also deserves mentioning. The developers of this game is Game Freak, aka the
Yes.
guys who make the Pokemon games. And my first reaction to this trailer and seeing Game Freak's name was, what? You guys can make good looking games that look like they play well and have interesting new ideas? Like, am I in a parallel universe? Because quite frankly, I'm not a fan of Game Freak. They have let me down so many times. Like the last time I thought they would let me down is when they slowly lower me, my coffin into the ground. Like I thought they would let me down my whole life. So me seeing that they are actually working on something beautiful with unique ideas and fun mechanics that might actually be challenging and all, my mind was blown, quite frankly.
I hate to be very critical since most of the time I like to find something good about the games. But honestly, when you guys said it was Game Freak, I was like, you know what? That trailer ran at like a weird FPS. And that totally makes sense when you tell me that it's Game Freak. That was my
Yeah,
exact reaction.
there were many memes related to this announcement of Game Freak. Like Game Freak for Nintendo versus Game Freak for Xbox. Very two different style.
They're 5%, Zay. It's their 5%.
So yeah, I actually wanted to reply to what you said earlier, Mika, about Stellar Blade vibe. Uh, for me, I actually would disagree with you, as in when you said Stellar Blade vibe, as in the machinery, I meant more mechanic wise Stellar Blade, not the vibe aesthetic.
Oh, yeah, okay. Fair enough, fair enough. Because for me, yeah, I was looking at it more thematically, right?
Yeah, yeah, it's cool, it's cool. So yeah,
I am
that's
wondering.
my honorable mentions.
The last thing I want to mention is how did Game Freak escape from the dungeon that they're being kept in by the Pokemon Company to do this? Like, I'm very curious to know how this game was even allowed.
I am more curious to see how this would fare once it releases. But yes, it
That
is
is also very
very,
valid.
very surprising that they came out with this.
Wait, isn't Game Freak a first party developer for Nintendo?
It is.
It is.
It
And
is the
that,
way that like certain companies work for Sony and all.
oh,
So Game Freak is in a kind of, how do you say, three-way relationship between Pokemon Company, Nintendo, and Game Freak when it comes to creating the Pokemon games.
Oh, okay.
all right. Do you have any more honorable picks, or do you want to hear something from you, Moody?
Yeah, let's move on.
Ah,
It's those are
okay.
my honorable mentions.
So I'm gonna try not to dwell on each of these too long. I'm gonna tell you what it is and why I'm looking forward to it, and then I'm gonna move on. Okay? So first thing is a game called Clockwork Revolution. This one really caught my eye because of a few reasons. First of all, it's a first-person story-based game, like your Oblivions, your Skyrims, your Fallout, and your Vegas, that kind of stuff. And I'm a sucker for a game like that, right? Secondly, it looks like it's gonna have a lot of really fun characters, and the graphical, visual aesthetic, the art style of it all looks really cool. Next, it seems like there's some kind of time manipulation going on in the story and the setting, and that also really interested me. And the other part of it is that overall, the story seems to involve the topic of revolution, like fighting against the oppressive bourgeoisie and kind of help the little guy get their day in justice and all that. And that's something that I really vibe with. So, I'm interested, I'm interested to see what this game is gonna be like. And it's been developed by In Exile, which I haven't heard from them in a good long while, so welcome back. So that is why this game really drew my attention. Have you guys seen this game? Like, any thoughts?
Yeah, I did see it, and it wasn't really appealing to me.
The one thing I noticed
Well,
is that the visuals were really outstanding, and I had to even wonder whether it was a cinematic trailer, because it feels like it's gameplay, right? Even from the trailer you guys are seeing.
mm-hmm.
Not sure why you're so very surprised there, Trix. Are you not looking forward to Clockwork Revolution?
Yeah, I mean, don't you like big sideburns, my guy? Don't you like top hats? Who doesn't like top hats? Anyway, now let's move on to my next game on the list, okay? So for this one, a little context is necessary. I am a big fan of science fiction. I really like it. I think that it's really cool. And whenever there's a cool new sci-fi show that shows up, like a TV show or a movie, I would give it a try, see what the vibe is, right? And one of the shows that I ended up watching and really, really falling in love with is called The Expanse. Now, The Expanse, amazing show, highly recommended. It was once on the Sci Fi Channel, then it was cancelled, but then Jeff Bezos himself bought the show and revived it for 3 more seasons. Like, it it was really really popular, and yeah, it's really awesome. Like, there's so much I could talk about it, but I don't really want to make it long. But the point is, The Expanse is getting a video game, and I am so excited for this. Like, the game that I'm looking forward to is called The Expanse Osiris Reborn, and it seems to be like a third person game shooter, maybe like Mass Effect or something like that. And if you wanna take, previously we were talking about 007, how it's like 007 plus Uncharted seems like a really good idea, and in that same way Mass Effect plus the Expanse universe is a really good idea, because this is a universe with multiple factions, with people who have a lot of political ideologies that kind of clash with each other. People call this space Game of Thrones, which I think is kind of accurate for a lot of reasons. So seeing this game made me really really excited for what we might be getting. I love the Expanse universe to the point that I'm actually considering reading the books, because the show kind of ended prematurely. But a game, though, now that's something I can really chew on.
Uh,
And you guys, please watch the show. It's great.
so I gotta ask what Trix has said. Like, do you recognize any of these characters? I believe this is Telltale making the game, right? So,
I don't think so, right? Because Telltale already has an Expanse one where they actually have TV show characters. But me personally, Trix, I don't recognize any of the characters. But then again, I do have a bit of a problem with recognizing faces sometimes.
I
Um,
think I understand now. I actually accidentally put on the Telltale Expanse trailer, not the
oh,
Osiris one. That's why I was so confused. But are there any characters from the original here, like in the show?
I'm not sure about that. All I know is that we're getting to mess around in this world again, and it's really, really going to be interesting. And I want more people to know about how sick the world of the Expanse is, right? Because this is a world that is basically like our world, but a couple of, I don't know, a 100-ish years in the future, where humanity has moved on from just Earth. We also live on Mars, we live on some of the moons of Jupiter and stuff like that. And more interestingly, a group of us also live on the asteroid belt mining resources, which means that there are a group of humans who were born in space and have never seen Earth or gravity, and have actually kind of adapted in that way. So the tensions between the people from Earth who think that they are, the most important when it comes to humanity's future, and the people from Mars who had to struggle really hard to survive on a desert planet, and the people from the belt who basically were treated like disposable servants, and figuring out like, okay, where do we all fit in? We want our rights. Okay, Earth is not the most important thing. Like, that tension is really great. And in the show, something that makes it really interesting is that on top of all the sci-fi elements that are more, how do you say it, realistic, you also have, like, when I say aliens, I'm not talking about little green men and like, Star Trek, Star Wars kind of stuff, but like foreign bacteria from, like, other worlds and stuff like that, that interact with stuff in a weird way. Like in that end of the trailer as well for Osiris Reborn, you see like the strange crystals growing out of a guy, like that kind of stuff. Some real body horror, like scary stuff. And it ends up being a little bit like how the White Walkers are in Game of Thrones, where you have all this politics, but also on the side you have this magic that's slowly creeping in, right? So it's quite the show. And this looks like a third person game, and I'm so excited to explore the world of the Expanse again. Okay, I said I wouldn't dwell on it too much, and I dwelled on it too much. Sorry, you guys. Let's move on to the next one.
I mean, it's perfectly fine. We
So,
were expecting it.
okay, so this next one, I'll just get right to the point, is Resident Evil 9. They announced Resident Evil 9. And not only that, but it seems like the main character is gonna be the daughter of legacy Resident Evil character Alicia Ashcroft. Am I saying the name right? I don't remember the first name, but her last name is Ashcroft. Basically, the context is that her mother might have been experimented on by the Umbrella Corporation once upon a time, which makes the baby a little bit special in some ways, probably. And considering that we've seen Resident Evil 7, we've seen Resident Evil Village, and now we're about to see a new one, I am really excited. And yes, Trix, there was an Ashcroft before. I believe that Ashcroft is actually the name of one of the founders of the Umbrella Corporation, and that sicko experimented on his family.
Oh, is it? I thought this character was actually the child from
No,
the
it's
reporter in Resident Evil Outbreak.
yeah, you are correct, Mika.
Oh, okay, then I'm seeing it wrong then. But my point here is that in a world where Resident Evil has really, upped the game in terms of what's scary and how they present it, I'm really excited to see where we're going with this. It
Or
seems like there's a new case. Like it seems that we're gonna get a new protagonist who sits in the chair like how Elle from Death Note sits in her chair. Sorry, his chair. And I don't know. I
I gotta give props for how they announced this, right? Like all through the Summer Games first presentation, they were like, okay, we're gonna tease you everything Resident Evil by putting on the voice actor for Lady Dimitrescu, right? And at the
hmm.
very middle, they're like, you know what? Look forward to it. We're not gonna announce anything. And then right at the end, they dropped this.
Okay, looks like Skewer Star is giving me a little bit of a fact check. So it's Ashford. Okay, my bad, man. Thank you for looking out. Um, but coming back to what you were saying, Mika, these days with the attention economy being what it is, it's real rough. People really gotta play games to get your attention and may get you talking. And I think that this definitely caught my eye. I don't think now maybe I could be proven wrong, but I'm not expecting this game to be as like skin-crawlingly terrifying as Silent Hill F. But I do think that we might see some disturbing scenes and some interesting, developments. And ever since Resident Evil 7 started, I have not been exactly aware of what's going on in the wider world of Resident Evil. Like, what's up with the Umbrella Corporation? Like, who's really doing all of this stuff now? So coming at it from the perspective of like a federal agent could be interesting, to see the big picture world look at um, the world of Resident Evil because we kind of left it to go for a more personal approach with Ethan.
I had a similar reaction to Zay over here. Like we see the RPD track. It wasn't even that. I saw the crater and I was like, okay, is this like the crater from Resident Evil 2? Because I was already thinking Resident Evil as soon as they show the infected thing on Ashley's computer, right? And then we see the crater and I'm like, oh, is this Raccoon City? And then you see the RPD sign and I'm like, okay, wow, okay, they're actually doing this.
I thought it
Yeah,
was Control at first.
I wouldn't be surprised if it was, and I'm looking forward to a control game as well. But yeah, RE9 is coming, y'all. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, did you heard Mooney that after the Summer Game Fest ended, I think yesterday or day before, some previews came out for RE9. Like they showed, I think a 30-minute demo, closed doors, and the most important thing was that you can actually play the game in first person or third person.
That's actually fascinating, huh?
Yes,
Oh,
and
this is
a
actually
demo.
something that was requested, I think, in Resident Evil 7, right, and 8, because a lot of people had difficulty playing the first person view.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And yes, Kior, I have to wonder. I do feel like if they released an Outbreak game here, it would work. Like people are just want more Resident Evil content, right? But do they really want to do it the live service way or the one-off way? That is the question.
I personally think, right, that Outbreak was ahead of its time, and that if they actually release that game now with a little bit of polish, that it could actually do really well. It could be fun for streaming together with friends. It could be fun, like just playing with friends. I think that it has a lot of potential. When I played it single player alone once upon a time, I was very frustrated with the AI and all that, but I did like the concept. I was like, wow, I wish this thing could be on PC so that we could play with friends without all these barriers in the way.
The motion sickness day is actually the main reason I think a lot of people requested third person for like 8 as well. And they actually obliged. And I think after that they were like, you know what? Our fans actually want third person. So yeah.
Now, let me move on to the last game on my wish list, or rather, highlight list. And this is a game that is apparently being made by some of the ex-developers of the Witcher series, The Blood of the Dawn Walker. Now, this one, it's kind of like this, okay? I am a sucker for third-person action games. I think they're neat. I'm a sucker for vampires, pun intended. I love them. I think they're very cool. And for you to give me a game where I get to be a vampire and do vampire things, I am like so in. Like I have been waiting for Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2 for such a long time. I will literally take anything. Even if it's a bad game, I'll try it. I'll try anything in the vampire the genre style. I don't know what you would call it. Yeah, ex CD Project Red is apparently what they're saying about this game. And yeah, Blood of the Dawn Walker is what it's called. It seems to be a game set in kind of Transylvania-esque Eastern European location with you playing a character who can walk in the night and in the light. Haha, that rhymed. And there's a lot of macabre storytelling and imagery involved, and I'm hoping that it's gonna have like, interesting characters and lots of dialogue options and a story that'll really impact us. I'm very keen to see how this plays out. I don't really love the name. I think that it's kind of a mouthful. Blood of the Dawn Walker. Come on, just call it Dawn Walker colon something, right? Like the Witcher Wild Hunt. Yeah, dude, it could be seen as a medieval blade game, except I think that this blade is on the side of the vampires, not the humans. And yeah, that brings me to the end of my list. A lot of these games were horror games, huh? Including Mina the Hollower, which is a horror themed game. So Mika's going stealth and I'm going horror.
Pretty much. And I actually have one last mention that I think you guys have skipped over. I'm going to keep this list short because we're already really straggling for time. But my pick actually would be you guys know that I love pairing, right? It's, I think, one of the most fun things to do in a game. So,
Yeah, I mean, you parried like 1,000 whatever times to beat that boss in Expedition 33, so yeah, we know you're the parry guy.
so the game that I actually had in mind is called Wu Chang. You guys might have seen this one in the trailer. What really struck me off is actually the music for it. Like we usually get like really good Chinese manhwa and manga for actions this setting, but I never seen this setting done well in a video game or a TV series. So that's why I'm actually quite excited to like get into this game because everything looks like really, really over the top action, and you see that familiar clash of blades and everything. 1 hour 20 minutes of stubbornness cure, and I feel like I can translate that over to this. Yes, Wukong was a close call, a close fit for this as well. But I specifically wanted this setting rather than the mythological Wukong setting. Like these
What's so
over the
special
top.
about this setting?
So it's just the fact that it's very, very anime, right? This girl is, I think, I believe, half demon, and she's on her quest or whatever. So that's about everything I know about Wu Chang. But all I'm really liking is just that concept and that music. There's something that speaks to me there. You're worried about me? Well, you guys didn't see how many times I failed. That's the thing. I failed a lot to get that 1 hour 20 minutes of parrying. Okay, but yes, my honorable mention, and I'm gonna keep this very short, is actually Wu Chang Fallen Feathers. I want to see more of the game, other than our knowledge of just that the main character is possibly half demon and on a revenge quest, most likely. Other than that, we have no idea. I want to see more of the game. I hope it does really, really well.
I'm excited for it too. I want to see you play it specifically.
Oh no, that can't
Anything
be
else
good.
on the list?
Oh no, that's it. I'm gonna keep it short. Like I said, that's all from
Wow,
me.
out of everybody who was keeping it short, you actually kept it short. I'm impressed, Mika. So I guess y'all, that means we kind of reached the end of our um little experiment with a live checkpoint coffee. But before we end things, I kind of want to throw it to the chat here, Mika. I want to see what they're thinking, right? So, you guys, are there any games from the Summer Games Fest or any of the related events after that that you are particularly excited for that we didn't touch on today? Can you let us know? And then we'll give them a shout out and then we'll wrap things up.
Oh yeah, I completely forgot that you guys are here because we are so used to doing this show by ourselves, right? And this is our first live show, so you're gonna have to uh, forgive any mistakes we're making off here. Oh, the Call of Duty 7 ending. Do we want to talk about this? Do we want to talk about this?
Please
Let's
go
talk
ahead. I
about this.
mean, let's mention it
Mika,
a
let's
bit.
talk about this because
All
I
right.
we were live reacting to it.
Let me find the trailer. Why did you begin?
So so there were so the experts showcase had this thing where it showed up world premiere a lot of times, and at the end there was a world premiere yet again, and the trailer start off very sci-fi. It looks like a very like a new IP. It was a new game and it looks very interesting. Like it had robots. I think there were like suspicions of there will be a revolution, something like what was that game? I mean, like it might there might be a Terminator event, something like that. Like there were
Mm.
many suspicions, and it looks
I,
really cool.
I honestly thought this was some sort of SCP game or like a control game.
Yo, that actor, I know him. He was in
Yes, yes,
Heroes.
is Peter Petrelli from Heroes, right? Well, not his real
Yeah.
name, but
Milo
So yeah,
something is his real name.
yeah, Moni, did you actually watch this trailer?
I did not. I have not
So
seen it.
yeah, so yeah, Mika, let's. I think it's better for us to actually see his live reaction of this trailer.
now the problem
I
is he already sort of knows what this is introducing. For us, what happened was we're like, this looks darn interesting, right? And then all of a sudden, it just hits you in the face with like Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and I think I've never felt more disappointed with a game announcement ever. Like all that
that
build up for another Call of Duty. It might be good, it might not be good, but somehow with it being Call of Duty, just I was like, okay, I'm so disappointed.
I think, right, the fact that we are seeing them try something new in the Call of Duty franchise, especially with the Black Ops side of things where they do have the license to make it a little unrealistic and all, it's nice, you know? Like Call of Duty Black Ops, the first game, really made a cool impact on me by being a little bit cerebral with its take. So yeah, this could actually be something. They might actually be cooking here.
Actually,
And
what I heard is that the last Black Ops 6, the single player campaign is actually worth playing
Oh,
because
really?
it had,
exactly.
yeah, it's actually had a pretty good story.
Exactly. So, like with this one, who knows? I mean, they're already putting the first foot forward with story. So I think they might actually be cooking here. So let's see.
No, well,
Now, I'm gonna.
I will play through the Call of Duty one and actually decide here. Do you
Yeah,
want to take a
fair
look
enough.
at any other games? We have mention of FF Tactics over
Yes.
here, Mecha
Uh,
Break.
I'm gonna go through all of these ones, just real quick. First of all, Code Vein 2 has been announced. I don't know if anybody else other than Zay and I care about this, but like that
No, hey,
is
I do. I played the original, and I was like, I think I actually recognize that trailer. I think even in our group, I was like, okay, is this Code Wing 2? Right? Right?
like I
No.
was so excited about it. I bought Code Vein on Steam immediately.
Oh, this announcement was definitely one of my most unexpected because I thought Code Wayne was dead. Like,
But
but
like any good vampire, it is back. All
oh,
right. That being said, let's shift gears a little bit. Final Fantasy Tactics is being remade for like modern consoles and platforms. Like that's wild, dude. Like this is such a good game. Oh my god. The story, the characters, the themes, the music, the gameplay, it's just chef's kiss, right? As far as like tactical SRPG style games go, this is the Mona Lisa, and for us to be able to get it in the modern age without emulation is phenomenal. And not only that, they're allowing you to see the game in its modern form, which has a lot of voice acting and improved graphics and stuff, and also be able to switch back to the classic form just like that. And I think that that's just so rad. And people these days need to know about this game and how sick the characters in it are. They need to know about Delita and Ramza and all the drama that happened between them. This is just, to use a modern phrase, absolute cinema of a game. Even though it looks like a bunch of people messing around on squares, this was Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones gamed any thrones. And you can quote me on that. Thank
Everyone,
you, Scusta, for mentioning that.
everyone loves tactics. If you are a Final Fantasy fan who has played tactics, then tactics is very high on that list of Final
I'm
Fantasies
actually
for you.
hoping that I'm actually hoping that this will be the game that drags IHM into the SRPG genre, but I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for them to release a demo. Yeah, I'm not.
Let's go.
Yeah, if they release a demo, I will play it, and if I like it, then I will buy it.
All right, so our last pick here is Mecha Break. Am I the only Gundam fan here, the Mecha fan here, or are you guys into big robots and big guns?
Yeah,
This for me
for
is a
me they look
yes.
cool.
For me, it's a yes but situation, right? I love mechas. I love them a lot. I love Gundam. I love Code Geass, and there's a lot of other mecha anime that I get into as well. But I don't love competitive PvP games very much. Like I've tried a few and I just haven't found my place in them, I think. So Mecha Break being an objective based competitive PvP kind of puts a little damper on the thing for me. Even though you can customize your mechs, even though you can like change colors of individual pieces sometimes, even though you get to design your own character, it's just for me personally mm, like something I love expressed in a way that I don't love. Uh, does Mooney like Armored Core? Yes, Mooney does like Armored Core very much. That's what I wanted Mecha Break to be like, I suppose. But that being said, that is my personal preference. There are people who really love this game, even loved the beta of it. I think Zay is one of them. And to them, I say, I hope you all get the game of your dreams because this could be really sick.
The one thing I do worry about is the fact that it is actually made by a Korean studio who are generally known. The Korean studios are generally known for like very pay-to-win games, right? And I do believe Mecha Break is free to play.
It
And
is.
another thing I'd like to add is that this trailer actually has a very I don't know if you've been watching any recent Gundam or mecha anime. Like it has a very similar theme track to this. I almost feel like it's the same artist doing this.
It could actually be, just to kind of give people that little nostalgic push. Oh, are they teasing a single player campaign? Then I am more interested.
I definitely feel. Yeah, it is Hiroyuki Sawano. There, you actually saw his name in there. So they're using the artist that is famed for actually doing a lot of the mecha stuff. Like he did the soundtrack for Allies, the recent Gundam, Iron Blooded Orphans, even Xenoblade Chronicles X's music track is by Hiroyuki Sawano. I love that fellow, and I immediately recognized it. And I was like, it has to be him. Either that or they're sort of taking that concept and rolling with it. Jack, I'm not sure if the rest of us knows what Demon X Machina is. To be fair, Demon X Machina 2 was not announced in this, but it is also another mecha game, and that is specifically aimed for the Switch one. But now that the Switch 2 is around, I feel like it's going to fare a lot better, right?
Hmm. And with that, I think we've actually touched on everything that chat's talked about
No,
as
no, no,
well.
Moni. We have yet to talk about the biggest announcement
Oh, what
in
is
this
it?
entire. So how what game? How Silk Song was revealed to be
Yes, yes,
released
of
this year?
course, of course.
Oh my god, don't talk to me about Silk Song until it comes out. I refuse to open my eyes and be excited. I've been heartbroken too many times.
I mean, you guys know that the trailer that we're about to show next is not the reveal trailer for the new Xbox Rogue Ally X. It is like 7 seconds of Silk Song footage that everyone's gonna analyze for 1.5 hours. You know it. Yeah, there we go. There's Silk Song there. There. This is what we're gonna analyze in a few seconds. We're gonna check all the footage frame by frame, guys. The one game that a lot of people were looking forward to, and they knew it. They put it there just for the marketing. I kind of hate them for it too. We needed a proper Silk Song announcement.
Yeah. So the
Look,
Rogue Ally X is set to be released this year, and Silk Song is going to be released before that.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not believing this until we see it.
exactly. Like I have been waiting for Silk Song for so long and have been like getting drip fed little bits of like hope. And at this point, I'm like, okay, I don't even want to hear it until the damn thing comes out. Right now, I'm gonna act like I'm not even looking forward to it, so that we like, they can't tempt me any further. Like, look
Oh,
at this. This is like barely 30 seconds. How dare they?
oh, and sorry, Zach, I didn't know that Demon X Machina was announced for PS5. Because if it is, I'm actually getting it. You know how I love my mecha games. This close to taking a trip to that studio. Well, if you get any down on the low Silk Song footage, just drop it to your friendly neighborhood Emming Gaming podcast.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Nine Souls.
Oh,
Yo, I actually am aware of this game. Yeah, it is on my wish list. I'm waiting for a decent discount to get it. It seems to be quite popular among streamers as well, Mika. A Metroidvania.
I someone else actually recommended this to me because, and like you guys can guess it, it has a very good pairing mechanic apparently.
Uh-oh.
Oh, indeed.
Yeah, like that's my weakness and your strength.
The only reason why I know of Nine Souls is because Yoshida, the person from PlayStation, said that's like for him the best indie game last year.
Oh, interesting, interesting. Now I really have to pick this up. Like mods to a flame. Just gotta perfect it, guys. Even if it takes 60 hours for me to complete a fight. Anyhow,
Y- That's actually very admirable. Maybe I should also rip off the band-aid and start trying to parry. There's a parry character in Night Rain. Maybe I'll pick him a little bit more.
I know we've set him down the path, guys. Now you all have to tune into his stream as Mooney plays Executor on Night Rain.
Or Sekiro.
Oh, Sekiro. Fair enough.
But in any case, you guys, this brings us neatly to the end of our podcast, our first ever live podcast where we were discussing our top picks for the Summer Games Fest. Now, I want to straight up go out of my way and, say I think everybody's picks were really awesome. I'm really looking forward to see more updates about all of them. Also, a huge thank you to our live audience today. You guys made all of this very fun, unique experience. So, um, I hope that y'all really enjoyed hanging out with us. And Tricks, yes, it is going on YouTube as a VOD a couple of days later. Isn't that right, Mika?
Yep, in not even a couple of days. We're double streaming to YouTube and Twitch at the moment. So it'll be up as a WOD right now on YouTube afterwards.
Oh, okay. So like it's not even you wait for it to come out. It's like we're like oblivioning this. We're gonna be like, hey, it's gonna come out today, right now, the moment we're done. Go check your Steam page, actually YouTube channel, at MN Gaming at YouTube.com, whatever. But anyway, I want to say this has been really fun, and if you guys think that this is the kind of thing that y'all might want to tune into, we might do a few more of these. Yeah, this was a little bit of an experiment, but I think it was largely successful.
Yep. A huge thank you to everyone for joining us in chat. See, one of the reasons why I wanted to do this live was because I've been streaming a lot on this channel the past few days, and I've had a lot of fun interacting with you all. And I wanted to share that with the others here, just to encourage us all to stream more, because we need to get that going over here in Maldives. And just so that you guys have a chance to talk with us regarding Summer Games Fest, we honestly wanted to stay up at 2 a.m. Oh, well, I wanted to stay up at 2 a.m. and watch the show
Who's
live and
this
react to it.
we that you're talking about? You ain't gonna catch me staying up for these trailers that might disappoint me and for no Silk Song once again.
Uh, but we figured that, like Mooney said, that a lot of you would actually be asleep and would rather catch the show in the morning, which is why we were like, you know what, let's do our reactions like this. And hopefully, you guys got some of our insights and you enjoyed the show. I know I did.
Oh, for real. I had a really fun time doing this. I think this might be one of the most involved streams that we've done, but I really, really like this. I really vibe with this. And so if you guys also really liked it, don't forget to let us know, whether it's on Telegram or in our Telegram channel or on our Discord channel as well. We also would appreciate a like or a comment or whatever, if you feel like you got something to say.
So
And most importantly, and this part I cannot stress enough, if you know other people who would really enjoy stuff like this, share it with them because we need more eyes on this stuff so that people know that we are out here, we're doing this stuff.
So to reply to you, Morning Salad, we kind of know that they were announced. It's just that we were disappointed that they didn't show it. We got a date, and I was like, okay, yeah, we got a date. We're looking forward to it. But show us more of Silk Song, right? Right? I can't be the only one who's going to analyze that footage for a few seconds.
There is a popular Silk Song trailer, sorry, lore guy called Mossbag, right? And bro has been just slowly having an existential crisis as they kind of just tickle us with all these Silk Song teases. And you know that he's gonna make a 50-minute video about those 30 seconds, and that's not a life, okay? Let bro live. Give us a new game so bro can consume it and create more content. He's the Vati Vidya of the Hollow Knight community, and the man's on life support.
4 years, huh? We'll see. We'll see.
This had better be like the Bloodborne of Hollow Knight, alright? I don't know. I have very high expectations.
Maybe a little too high with all the expectations that gone to it. So, Aham, do you have anything else you want to add?
Not much.
Sorry,
Alright, in
you
that
cut off there. I'm not sure whether I was the only one.
Oh, no, no, no. I mean, yeah, I don't have anything to add.
all good then. So if that's the case, let's wrap this thing up. A huge thank you to everybody who joined us on the chat today, the people who checked out our stream, whether you interacted or not. We see you. And see you next time. We'll be streaming something on the reg that as we do on on Fridays, and we might do some impromptu streams throughout the week as well. I've been really getting into Night Rain. Mika, what are you playing these days?
I've been playing like 3 games at once right now. I am doing Night Rain like you. I've been trying to solo the first map on Recluse. I'm getting to day 2 consistently, but I'm not getting past that. I've been playing Fantasy Life High, and that has taken over my life. Like, I spent an entire day on it without even realizing it. And the other game, as you guys
Wow.
know, is Expedition 33.
And with that, let's just head off. Thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you in the next one.
Unfortunately, I just realized that I did not make an end scene for this, so I'm gonna loop you guys back to our starting loop, even though it says starting soon. This is actually the end. Uh, I'm gonna make a note to make an end screen next time. We did it like very impromptu, and it completely skipped my mind. So you know what?
It's all good.
I'm gonna put a trailer up for something I was interested in, and we're gonna finish the stream off with that.
You know what they say, Mika, when you take your first steps into the unknown domain, they aren't always going to be the most elegant, but at least we're going further than Inman Gaming has gone before. And on that note, I'd like to say goodbye to all of our viewers, listeners, and others. Goodbye.
Good night, everyone.
Goodbye.
Noticed it too, didn't you, Heyo? Those red special guards were demons. Kuzunoha can't stand idly by with those things prowling the capital.
Protecting the capital. A devil summoner.
Every generation of Raido Kuzunoha has been tasked with safeguarding the capital. You exist in the darkness in order to vanquish that very darkness. Never forget that.
He commands demons and vanquishes evil.
Spirit!
You see the unseen and wield a power that others do not. It seems you still intend to interfere with our plans.
Unravel a conspiracy threatening the world. The Soulless Army Project.
Those in power use their authority to rewrite history to suit themselves.
Come forth!
Raido Kuzunoha the 14th is on the case.
Raido!
Have faith in yourself!
Don't you die out there, Kuzunoha. Godspeed, Raido.
Unleash the supernatural.
Go, Raido!